Hey guys, welcome back to another quick Shakespeare video. Today we're going to be talking about the one and only Othello. Othello is a pretty okay story about a guy named Othello, shockingly enough, who's totally black. And in most of the characters in the story, that's just not okay. But we'll get into that later. He's a military leader, a general in fact, and he's super good at what he does. Like, really, really good. He meets this girl named Desdemona, and she is, like, super hot. Like, seriously, look at her. Who could resist those eyes? One guy who clearly can't resist her eyes is this guy named Roderigo, since he's super into Desdemona as well. Except it's in that kind of creepy, stalkery way. You know, we've all heard those stories, and we know what that's like. Another thing that contributes to what's going on in the story is that Othello has to pick who his second in command's going to be, and it's between two guys.
Cassio versus Iago. In the first corner, we have Iago, a super good soldier who fought in multiple battles beside Othello, and he has the support of multiple men of great importance in Venice. Then, in the other corner, Cassio, the arithmetician, and he's good looking and, that's about it.
Spoiler alert, Cassio wins, and that Iago off. And rightfully so. I mean, haven't you ever had your position that you think you deserve taken by someone who has absolutely no credit or no reason to be there? Yeah, we've all been there, so feel a little bad for the guy. And so Iago begins to plot, and that's where we begin. So just a quick warning aside from the story. Things are about to get really fast, like we're taking things from a 1 to a 10. So you need to buckle down and get ready, because I'm about to throw this entire story at you in like 5 minutes. So, anyway. Act 1, Scene 1. Roderigo and Iago are talking about how much they hate Othello. Roderigo wants Desdemona, and Iago wants the position that Othello gave to Cassio. They decide to go to Brabantio, Desdemona's dad, and tell him about the relationship because Othello is black, which is a key point because this old man isn't going to like that, which will cause them to get in some trouble with their relationship. Furthermore, Brabantio is a powerful man in the city of Venice and will have a lot of influence to do bad things to Othello. So they go to Brabantio and he's outraged that his daughter is with the Moor, and he proceeds to get the whole town on a witch hunt against Othello because of this. Be aware that Othello has no idea of this plot and doesn't even think bad things of Iago at this point, so he's not going to suspect any sort of association with this plan. Act 1, Scene 2. Iago speeds ahead of the witch hunt and finds Othello to warn him about the fact that they are looking for him, which shows he's already being a little two-faced snake. The witch hunt arrives and they're all ready to kill Othello, and he's like, how about you don't? And everyone thinks that's a pretty cool idea, because Othello's really intimidating. The Duke's servant comes to fetch Othello, and they all go with him to the Duke. Act 1, Scene 3. They go to the Duke, and Brabantio talks about how Moor is getting all rough with his daughter in bed, and that isn't okay. Once the Duke figures out it's Othello, though, he starts being more accepting of the story. After their love is being challenged as a black witchcraft, Othello explains the love story between himself and Desdemona. Everyone's charmed by the story, and she comes in later to confirm it. However, Othello is being called off to war because he's so good at that. He accepts, and everyone agrees that Desdemona should go off to war with him instead of staying with her father. Iago starts forming his master plan for himself and Roderigo, aka plan, make him think his second in command is sleeping with his wife. Act 2, Scene 1. Everyone gets to Cyprus where the war is safely, but only after Iago gets to show himself off as a sexist pig. They find out then that all the Turks drowned in a wild storm. Stupid Turks. Anyway, this sets up the scene of everyone wanting to celebrate the landslide victory, which gives Iago his first chance to enact his plan. Act 2, Scene 2. Hey guys, let's have a party. Act 3, Scene 3. While everyone's having a good time, Othello wants to consummate his marriage with Desdemona. He leaves Cassio on watch, and that's when trouble starts brewing. Iago offers Cassio some alcohol since they're just watching over a party. Cassio denies because he gets super wasted super fast. With Cassio wasted, Iago pushes him to start a fight with Roderigo. Montano steps in to stop the conflict and is attacked by Cassio. After a huge ruckus, Othello comes down, considers Cassio a mess and an embarrassment, and leaves him with a ruined reputation. Iago steps aside and says, cool beans, it worked. Act 3, Scene 1. Cassio tries to mend his relationship with Othello with a bunch of merry men, which really doesn't work. He then tries to talk Desdemona into helping him talk to Othello and getting him to re-elect him as his second in command. Act 2, Scene 3. I mean, there's not really much here going on, like it's literally like 5 lines, so I don't know what I'm supposed to Act 3, Scene 3. Desdemona fully agrees to work with Cassio, and as such, she seems a bit weirdly in Cassio's favor to Othello. This doubt is only furthered by Iago talking to Othello about rumors of Desdemona's unfaithfulness, and this in tandem with many other things starts pushing Othello over the edge. After a quick talk, Iago goes and gets Desdemona's handkerchief from his wife Emilia, who watches over Desdemona most of the time. This means a lot to Othello, and it is given to Cassio for him to wipe his beard. After Othello sees this, he goes all out crazy. Act 4, Scene 1. After teasing Othello more and more, being the wonderful sneaky angel he is, Iago concludes with the statement that Cassio totally told him Desdemona is sleeping with him. Othello is so angered by this that he falls down seizing in anger. Cassio comes in and Iago explains away his fit, telling Cassio to come back in a few minutes to talk with him. Othello recovers and Iago tells him to sit by and watch him talk with Cassio about the sex, which he agrees with. Cassio comes back in, and him and Iago talk about the sex he has with Bianca, a prostitute he's been with a while. Othello cannot hear the talk, but is angered by both the way that Cassio appears to be talking and his body language whilst doing so. Act 4, Scene 2. Othello asks Emilia about his wife being a whore, which she has no response to. She then summons Desdemona, and Othello is angered by the fact that she has tainted the womb that was to carry his children with another man's manhood. After she insists she did no such thing, Othello kicks her out. Meanwhile, Iago is telling Roderigo that Othello plans to leave soon and take Desdemona with him to Africa forever, so he should create a diversion so that he doesn't leave. This diversion will be killing Cassio. Act 4, Scene 3. Desdemona goes to bed after Othello told her he'll be there in a few minutes. Desdemona is pretty sure what awaits her, and she prepares to die. She sings a song called the Willow Song about a lover who betrays the other. As she's talking with Emilia, they get in a conversation about adultery. From this, Desdemona concludes that people should respond to acts against them with kindness, not spite. This shows that she still does love Othello, even after all that he's going to do. Act 5, Scene... No, I'm not going to spoil the rest of the book for you. You should go ahead and read it on your own. You've got a lot of the story up to here. Surely you can read just one act, if you're smart enough. Anyways, I think this is the end of the video now. We've gone past the 5-minute mark. So, yeah, bye.